Welcome to the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube. This is our Awakening Together weekly gathering. Each and every week we have a different minister who speaks. If you'd like to attend our services live, please visit our website awakening-together.org. Click on Online Sanctuary on the main menu. Then, How to Enter the Sanctuary. Our services are held Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary.
Thank you, Saina. Welcome everybody to this Easter Sunday Awakening Together weekly gathering. I begin by reading the statement of purpose and the core value that I've chosen today. The statement of purpose says, there is consistent wisdom in the universe. It shows up in all religions, in philosophy, in all cultures, and throughout time. This wisdom is not unique or new. It's owned by no one and by no organization. No one has to go to a special place or a special teacher to find it. It is the most abundant wisdom in the universe. Once one opens his or her heart to this wisdom, it appears everywhere by the hand of universal grace. We are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. And the core value I've chosen today is core value 5. We accept all forms as temporary appearances, permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honouring all appearances and all experiences, while continually reflecting on changeless truth. I invite everybody to close their eyes if it's comfortable to do so. And just to take a couple of deep breaths. Michael Gott just reminded us, all I ever wanted and all I ever needed was already there, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. The title I chose today is The Light That Never Dies. And my intention, my prayer for this gathering today is that each of us have a direct experience that we are the light. It was described so beautifully in a poem by Hafiz. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Even one regret, dear world, that I am determined not to have when I'm lying on my deathbed is that I did not kiss you enough. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. The place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. Don't surrender your loneliness so quickly. Let it cut more deep. Let it ferment and season you as few human or even divine ingredients can. Something missing in my heart today has made my eyes so soft, my voice so tender, my need of God absolutely clear. We gather here today in common purpose, in love for truth, in love for each other, brought here by love, sustained by love with every breath we take. So grateful as we open our hearts to the wisdom that appears everywhere by the hand of universal grace. Amen. The reading that I have chosen today is from NTI 2 Timothy chapter 2. And I'd like to invite my dear friend, Judy Lekisch, to read. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you so much. And it's lovely to be here and lovely to read for you, Susan, and everyone. Thank you so much for this honor. NTI 2 Timothy chapter 2. Step forth in purpose, and purpose is all that you shall see. You protect your fear. You protect it because you believe it protects you. You believe that there is something worse than fear beneath your fear. And so you protect your fear by keeping it in storage. But you will not find your release this way. You must go forth in purpose, which is the purpose of know thyself. With only this purpose in mind, you must be willing to release everything that is not the purpose. And fear is not the purpose, for fear's purpose is to hide the answer from you. The fear that to let loose your fear and experience it is also to come to the foothold of destruction. You believe that to step to that place and not be destroyed, you must hold to the last remaining shred of fear. In other words, you truly believe fear is your salvation. This is why you hold to it. But fear is not your salvation. Fear is the opposite of salvation. To realize this, you must be willing to experience that which you fear and let it go. By experiencing fear and not perishing, you learn that you cannot perish. This understanding taken to heart is a true glimpse of who you are. Here is a trustworthy saying: I am all that I am. And that is all I am promised to be. But I cannot limit myself through fear and know all that I am. I choose to release these limits. I have chosen for myself. In their release, I see all. I see that I am. Make this the constant prayer of your heart. Make this the constant prayer of your heart. In purpose, step forth unto your release. The resurrection is within, for it is the light that has never died, but it has been covered by the mask of false belief. The mask is dark and heavy, and it occupies your every thought. When you believe heavily in it, this is why it must be let go. It hides that which is you and is within, living now in peace. It hides all this, and it tells you that the truth is not true. As long as you hide in fear, you believe it. You believe the false, and it is fear that keeps you standing there. It is through fear that you are purified. It is through fear that you are purified. Do not shy away from fear. It is through fear that you realize your own shine. Because it is through experiencing fear and realizing fear that you learn fear has no hold on you. The unlimited cannot be limited by fear. Imagine that. The unlimited cannot be limited by fear. Do not flee that which life is bringing to you when you know that you see it coming. Turn to it in faith, having faith that it cannot hurt you. It has come only to teach you. Move from the thinking mind to the heart, which is the place from which you may experience the gift without denying it. Experience it in trust. It is only an experience, and it places no limits on you. It is peace that shall carry you through fear. When the fear has dissipated as a fog within sunlight, you shall see that only peace remains. Remember that the world and its thoughts are only props. Dive directly into the experience. Dive directly into the experience. By experiencing it in full, without a wish for salvation. Experience it in full without a wish for salvation. You experience it without dying, and that is salvation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you. There's so much in that short chapter. It begins by asking us to step forth in purpose. But first of all, we have to look at the fear, at all the ways we protect ourselves, all the beliefs that we've made up, all the ways that we keep ourselves small. And we think that our fear protects us. We think that fear's arising because it's going to save us from something, that it's somehow our friend. We think if I just keep my head below the parapet and stuff down all my emotions, don't look at them, then somehow I'll be safe. And I can tell you I've had a direct experience of this in the last couple of weeks as I was contemplating this homily, because everything in me wanted to run, everything in me. And I thought, the belief appeared in my mind. The fear's protecting me because you're not up to it, Susan. So it'll be okay. They won't mind. They'll get someone else. But as the chapter says, we have to look at that and not believe it, even though all the evidence seems to be there to not believe it. NTI 2 Timothy chapter 2 says, you will not find your release this way. You must go forth in purpose, which is the purpose of know thyself. And with only this purpose in mind, you must be willing to release everything that is not the purpose. Everything that is not the purpose of know thyself. And so I had to release the fear. And I tell you, the fear is still active in this body-mind right now. But I had to release it as something that would stop me being here. NTI Mark chapter 1 says, before truth can dawn, there is work that must be done. This work must be done in faith and out of a desire for truth. Baptism is a symbol of being washed clean. The one who goes down into the water as an individual, goes down as an individual who is willing to lay herself aside. Coming up from the water symbolizes the resurrection, the return to oneness of thought, the one will of God. And isn't that what we do all the time when we notice these emotions are here, and yet we do the thing anyway? We're willing to let go of the individual who is really scared and to step forward, to lay oneself aside and to return to the oneness. So here I am, up from the water. So what is the work that has to be done? Because we are the light that never dies. So why do we need to do the work? What is the work? The work's the journey of remembrance. And my mind seems to think in poetry these days, so forgive me for lots of poetry in this homily. I love the words of the English poet William Wordsworth, who says, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar. Not in entire forgetfulness, and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God, who is our home. But we forget because we're told as little people, we're told, Susan, mummy, tree, cup, good girl, bad girl. And from that, we construct a personality. We take on all of the opinions and beliefs of the adults around us. And we construct a personality, and then we see the world through that filter. But Wordsworth said, not in entire forgetfulness, because how can the light that never dies be completely hidden? It's always breaking through, even sometimes when we don't even realize. We're not even aware until many, many, many years later often of those glimpses. It can be something as simple as, the cliche is, the mind stops when I was looking at a beautiful sunset, or when my baby was born, or when I looked in the eyes of my lover, or when I held my dying father's hand. Those moments, there's a transcendence, the light that seems to come through. And I've had several of those experiences in my life. And the one that I bypassed and didn't remember for 30 years was as a little girl sitting on a pavement in Scotland on a lovely summer's day eating an orange ice lolly. And when I was a wee girl, if the sun was shining and there were two shafts of sunlight coming down to the ground, I used to think I could climb up there to where God lived. And I remember sitting there with this orange, the sensory memory is huge, with this orange ice lolly, sticky in the sunshine. And it was, looking back, I would say I merged with oneness. I did no idea what happened as a little girl. I had no reference point for it. But the memory came back to me years later, along with other memories. And I wrote a poem called God Lives Here. Sticky, orange-scented fingers, a cloudless sky, two shafts of light. God lives here. A dimly lit kitchen, a raging, hurt boy husband, ugly tears, the mind stopped in grief. God lives here. sitting in meditation amid Tibetan Buddhist artifacts, sunlight patch on wooden floor. God lives here. Lying in bed, exhaustion and tears, the sunlight in the trees. God lives here. Raging against injustice, the mind wanting to be right, the piercing light of nothing wrong. God lives here. The jolt of plans gone wrong. God lives here. No journey to take, no plans to make. God lives here among it all. And yet these glimpses often pass and we carry on with our lives, giving everything all the meaning it has for us, as the Course says, trying to find a purpose, trying to fulfill some longing inside us. And we look outside ourselves because that's what we've been trained to do. For some of us, it looks like a great job, a lovely partner, children, a house, the right size of jeans. For others, it goes to the spiritual path, the next teacher, the next teaching, the next program, the next course. One day in the future, if I try really hard, I'll get it. All the time, as the reading today reminded us, it, meaning the mask of false belief, hides that which is you and is within, living now in peace. Here now. The belief that happiness is somewhere out there or in the future. It is clouded. The belief is there that somehow we're broken, we're not good enough, that I don't get it. And yet the light is you. The light that never dies is the truth of you, hidden under that mask of beliefs. Are we ready to take off the mask? Are we ready to take off that mask of false belief today? Are we ready to know the self? That which we already are today, right now, in this moment. 2 Timothy includes the prayer, I am all that I am, and that is all I'm promised to be. But I cannot limit myself through fear and know all that I am, so I choose to release the limits I have chosen for myself. I choose to release them. And I've been thinking a lot in the last month or so about choosing, about who chooses. And it's certainly not Susan that chooses. Because just as much as that light that is me never dies, it's calling me all the time. That grace is pulling me all the time. Second Timothy chapter 2 said, the resurrection is within. It is the light that has never died. I just invite you to really contemplate that. It is within. It has never died. It can never die. Nothing you can do affects it. It's changeless, pristine, unaffected. And it's what you are. And yet there is this process of purification. Do not shy away from fear, 2 Timothy says. It is through fear that you realize your own shine. Because it is through experiencing fear and releasing fear that you learn fear has no hold on you. When we push things away, how can we ever know ourselves as the unaffected self? And I love that phrase, you realize your own shine. The Greek word Christos, from which Christ comes, means anointed, which literally means to cover the body in oil so that it shines. So another way of saying Christ is risen is I realize my own shine. I realize the self. Sorry, I'm tingling from head to foot. I am the Christ. I am the shiny one. Fear has no hold on me when I am willing to experience it fully. Doesn't that seem counterintuitive? And yet, we're so conditioned. I have to avoid fear. I have to repress fear. Fear is bad. But it is through fear you realize your own shine. You realize you are the Christ. You realize today on this Easter Sunday in you, Christ is risen. And yet the situations that we want to run from can seem so difficult. We don't have to look very far in the world to see seemingly difficult situations that we want to run from. And I call these situations fierce grace. And as I've spoken about before, I had my own experience of fierce grace, and I lost my teaching career in 2016 due to burnout. And I wrote a poem about that in 2017, long before I'd ever heard of NTI or Awakening Together. And yet when it came to me to include this poem today, I noticed that some of the themes are the same. I had no idea. I really need to emphasize, I had no idea what I was writing. The words were just coming on the page. Fierce grace swept into your life, destroying all your carefully made plans. You loved your achievements. You thought your intentions were pure, but you came here to be love. Let go, my love, into the abyss of exhaustion. Let go into the realm of everything apparently gone wrong. Let go of who you think you are, who everyone told you you were, so you can remember who you truly are. Deep in that abyss, I will meet you, swirling around you with my fierce, love-soaked grace. Whisper my words. Make them your constant prayer. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. Soothe your mind as it barks its objections. Soothe your weary heart and cradle yourself as your own beloved child. Rest, feel, cry, listen. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be except who you are in truth. Fierce grace is emptying you of all your striving. This fierce grace manifested in you, manifested as you, will crack you open, because that is how the light gets out. And it's such a strange experience to read that today, 5 years later, and to understand how incredible that grace was, how that grace called me out of the purpose I'd made for myself, smashed my life to smithereens, and showed me who I am. It's a full circle moment. So I invite you to close your eyes. In the knowledge that you are the light that never dies, that you are the Christ, the shiny one, that Christ is risen in all of us today as us. The light that never dies, the awesome, intelligent grace that has always been calling you. That is you. All that was ever needed was your willingness. There's no need to strive when everything is given. There's no need to worry when the exact right action is revealed just for the asking. And there's no need to seek love when the love that you are seeks you endlessly. We are free to relax and enjoy the unfolding of life, consciousness. Celebrate every experience. Surrender to the flow of life. Be the light that never dies. Be the joyful, ecstatic radiance. Be the shiny one. Be the Christ. Christ is indeed risen in each of us today, always. And to end, I want to invite Judy again to read a poem that came through her this week. Judy.
First, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Susan. That was a beautiful, beautiful homily. And you had said, this is a full circle moment. And I just briefly wanted to say, I'm so touched and honored again to be here with you. Just over 2 years, I heard Susan share her story, and it resonated so much with me that I didn't know her, and I had this inner prompt that said, I'm going to support this woman somehow. And to be able to read for her here and share this moment is a blessing and a gift. And this poem came about because I had noticed that the work works and really transformed something, transformed my perception. It's called Poem After Breakfast, and it's dedicated to the heart. Love happens. One day we wake up to something magnificent, something so uniquely different and special. We are drunk with the intoxication of it. We are so mystified. We don't even attempt to name it. We are simultaneously smitten and riveted, rooted in the moment. Remember that blissful sequence when time seemed to stand still, when everything fell away and time stopped. The scent of the earth permeated your senses. The sun dappled your eyelashes. Your body's heart sang another language. And you stepped forward, up and out of what was known before. Some call this mystery love, or perhaps life itself. I have come to know it as truth. And it is what you are. You are the very essence of love, life, and truth. And what you are is empty, untethered, limitless, and pure. The happiness of such unknowing is beyond words. Therefore, simply rest in the empty, quiet joy of what is your truth. Love loves like that. Truly. Love loves like that.
Oh, Judy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was just such a perfect ending. Truly, love loves like that. And that love is what we are. Thank you. So now we're going to have our closing song, which is Who You Really Are by Kirtana. And as Saina plays this song, can I ask everyone, if they feel to do so, to make a donation to Awakening Together? And there will be a link in the chat, and there's also a little QR thingy that I have no idea what those are, but there's a QR code. Thank you. So now there are 10 minutes, I believe, of time for sharing anything that you would like to say or ask, or just a time for us to talk together. Thank you, Donna. I see your little sign. Your light shines bright and fills hearts with hope and joy. Thank you. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
You've my heart. Thank you. That was so beautiful. And I think everyone here is profoundly influenced and reminded of the truth of what we are. And I just wanted to thank you so much.
Thank you. Christy, please.
Hi. I just want to thank you, Reverend Susan and Judy, for such a direct experience of love, and that I experienced just sitting here today and sharing with you as a participant in this beautiful homily, and also the poetry from both of you. My heart just feels open and expanded from this beautiful service. So I want to thank you. And I love the message of the Christ within and transcending fear to know our truth. And it's such a timely message on this day of resurrection and, Easter. And I feel inspired to carry that light in my consciousness now going forth from my experience here this morning. So thank you to both of you. And I love the way the service today was a joint offering from both of you. That really touches me deeply. It was very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. That means a lot, because as I said at the very beginning, that was what I wanted, was for people to have an experience. Thank you. Hey, Rico.
Reverend Susan, my friend, I don't know what you were afraid of, because that came so naturally flowing from the heart and from the spirit. Fear didn't even enter the room. So that was all in your head. But I do want to say thank you to Miss Judy, and I'll text you later and give you the profound part about it. And Reverend Susan, oh my God, you're talking about a flow of love so naturally, so consciously, so without effort. I want to thank you for teaching me how to listen with my heart and operate from my heart instead of my head consistently. I want to thank you for the light you consistently place on my path at everyone's class. Not that I'm dying of terminal uniqueness, everybody, but that's just who and what you are. And I want to thank you for touching my heart so deeply and leaving footprints on my soul. You are a beautiful soul. And they say if you spot it, you got it. So I hope that applies to me too. But you have been overwhelming in my life. And since I met you and Cindy, from that day to this, my life's just constantly evolving just by staying in that heart. And you even taught me where God lives and introduced me to Jesus. Shame on you. But, what an experience, incredible experience you have been. I love you is an understatement of what you have been in my life. Thank you so much, and thank you for all that God will continue to do with you.
Oh, thank you, Rico. I love you so much. Hey, Jenny.
No surprise here. I'm going to ditto a lot of what Rico said. But I would like to say this is just the best Easter I've ever had. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Years of longing, I think, for hearing what it's really all about and feeling it. Thank you. Just such a gift.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, Melanie.
Yes, I was just very touched. So I want to thank you, Reverend Susan, and Judy for your talks and your own poetry. And I just loved on Easter hearing, I had heard you say it once before, but that twist on Leonard Cohen's line about the crack enables the light to go out. And I just thought such a great thing to remember on Easter, that the crack, the light within rises out through the crack. So thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Patty.
Oh my goodness, Susan, Judy, I don't even have words. I just want you to know that my hands are tingling. Rico, the other day in Gentle Healing, we were discussing the difference between happy and joy, and this is joy, the bubbling in my heart. And I was in our Gentle Healing class, and with Regina, we've been talking about finding the highest vibration. And I've been thinking, can you imagine the vibration that this group is putting into the world today? So I don't even have any more words, but Ginny, I'm going to echo what you said. This is the best Easter ever. So thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Tatiana.
Oh, thank you so much. It was my first Easter and the best so far. And it's very hard to get better than that. And it almost didn't happen because I was supposed to teach yoga class, but it canceled. And it was like, yeah. So thank you so much, Judy and Susan and everybody. So it's really special, really touching. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. Melissa.
Hi, beautiful lights. You guys were amazing. And I did miss the first part because it was early. Sorry. But I am so looking forward to seeing the first 20 minutes of what I missed. And I'm so grateful for being here. And I'm here because of you, literally because of you, Susan. So immense thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to pull me into this beautiful light and love with everybody here. To all of you who keep me here and who I listen to again and again every day in my headphones, on walks and on long drives. Thank you so very much. Love you all. Happy Easter.
Thank you, Melissa. Lynn, please.
It's so wonderful to be here. Reverend Susan, you're amazing. All of you are amazing. It's the vibes. Like someone said, we're sending the vibes are being caught. And I'm at a loss for words. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I too want to say thank you to everybody for coming to Awakening Together, for the amazing organisation that it is. I'm absolutely honoured to be a minister here and to be a facilitator of gentle healing, many of whom are here today. Thank you, Judy, for your beautiful reading and your exquisite poem. I was just so happy to do this with you. Saina, do we still have time for our closing song? The song that I chose for the very end is called Silent Awakening. And I just also want to acknowledge Kate here, because it was Kate who was suggesting music after music after music after music. So all of those three choices, or two of them, came from Kate's suggestion. So thank you for that, Kate. It's called Silent Awakening by Tina Malia. And I chose it because of the lines in it. We are love offered on the wing that stretches across eternity. We are a chord in life's symphony. We are the silent awakening.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.